Imagine standing in the middle of a forest. The sun filters through the leaves, painting golden patterns on the ground, and a soft breeze brushes against your skin. You hear the birds, the rustling of branches, and yet in the quiet of this serene forest, your mind is screaming. Thoughts, worries, fears, and judgments swirl around like a violent storm trapped in your head. What if I told you that the storm isn't real? That the chaos you feel is born from a single thought, one invisible idea that quietly, persistently gnaws at your inner peace, and that recognizing it could change everything. A monk once explained this to me, sitting across from me on a worn wooden bench in a quiet monastery, his eyes calm like still water and his presence heavy with serenity. "You are not disturbed by the world," he said. "You are disturbed by one thought. One, the thought that you must control everything." It hit me like a lightning strike. Control. The need to control outcomes, to control people, to control time, to control how others see you, to control even your own emotions. That thought, subtle yet insidious, has a grip on nearly every human being. It masquerades as ambition, responsibility, or even care, but in truth, it is a thief. It steals your peace, your energy, and the natural flow of life. The monk leaned back, letting the silence hang between us, and I realized the truth of his words. For years, I had been chasing control, trying to mold the world and the people around me to fit the script in my mind. Each time things didn't go as planned, anxiety surged. Every disagreement, every failure, every moment of unpredictability became a dagger to my calm. And yet, it was all stemming from one single thought, the need to control everything. The monk smiled slightly and said, "Watch closely." He picked up a leaf that had fallen on the bench. "Tell me, can you control this leaf?" I looked at it, brushing it with my fingertips. It was soft, delicate, free to dance with the wind as it pleased. I could not make it float differently, nor stop it from falling to the ground. He placed the leaf gently back on the bench and whispered, "This leaf doesn't need you to guide it, and neither does life. Peace comes when you stop trying to be the gardener of every storm and start being the observer of the winds." That moment was more than a metaphor. It was a revelation. The thought of control had wrapped itself around my consciousness so tightly that I had forgotten the simple truth. Life flows whether I intervene or not. I had been carrying an invisible weight, and suddenly, in the presence of a single leaf, I saw it for what it truly was, an unnecessary burden. Let me ask you this. How many times have you stayed awake at night, replaying a conversation, imagining how someone might react, or worrying about an outcome you cannot influence? How many times have you criticized yourself for not having the perfect answer, the perfect plan, or the perfect life? Each of these moments is a manifestation of that one thought, the illusion of control. And yet it is so subtle that we rarely recognize it. We even praise ourselves for being planners, organizers, or responsible, as if the need to control is a virtue, when often it is the source of our suffering. The monk explained that the human mind has an incredible capacity to imagine countless scenarios, each one loaded with fear, expectation, or desire. And in this imagination, we become both the puppeteer and the victim. We pull the strings of our anxieties, and then we are strangled by them. To live in peace, he said, you must first see the strings for what they are. Observe them, and you will see how much power you have been giving away to a thought that does not serve you. I listened, and in the quiet of that monastery, I began to understand that peace is not something we earn or create by controlling everything. Peace is something we return to when we stop gripping life so tightly. The monk then asked me to close my eyes. I did. He guided me through a simple exercise. Imagine a river flowing gently through a valley. Notice the water, the rocks, the bends, and the currents. Try to imagine holding that river in your hands. Instantly, it resists, slips, and flows past you. That is life. We are not meant to hold it. We are meant to observe it, to flow with it, and to respond with awareness, not compulsion. This one thought, the need to control, is like trying to hold the river. It is unnatural, exhausting, and ultimately futile. And yet we cling to it because it gives the illusion of safety. It whispers, if you control this, nothing will hurt you. If you plan perfectly, no mistakes will touch you. If you direct everyone around you correctly, the world will stay kind and predictable. But life is neither safe nor predictable. And when we accept this, when we stop believing the lie of control, something remarkable happens. Freedom. Freedom to feel without fear, to act without obsession, to love without conditions, to live without being chained to outcomes. The monk leaned closer and said something I will never forget. The mind is like a house with many rooms. Some rooms are bright and filled with laughter, others are dark and cluttered. The thought of control lights up the cluttered rooms and makes them appear larger than they are. When you stop feeding this thought, the rooms shrink. Calm returns. Peace settles. You are no longer haunted by ghosts of what might be. I began to see the patterns in my own life. Arguments with colleagues, tensions with friends, frustrations with family, and most of all, the relentless self-criticism that chased me. It all stemmed from my desire to manipulate reality into a form that suited me. And every time reality refused to comply, suffering followed. The monk asked me to open my eyes and look at the world not as something to be controlled, but as a living tapestry that I am a part of, not the master of. I saw sunlight through the trees, the dust particles floating in golden beams, the soft sway of branches, the distant call of a bird. Everything was happening without my interference, yet it was perfect, vibrant, and alive. I realized then that inner peace is not the absence of chaos. It is the absence of attachment to the illusion of control within that chaos. It is the ability to say, I am here. I am aware. I am present, without demanding that the world bend to my will. Think about the last time you were frustrated by something you could not change. Did you notice the thought driving that frustration? Likely it was a version of, this should be different, this must change. This is not right. Each should is a thread of the control thought. And each thread ties you to worry, anger, and restlessness. The monk explained that the remedy is deceptively simple: awareness. When you notice the thought of control, you acknowledge it without judgment. You let it float past like a cloud across the sky of your mind. You do not fight it, nor do you indulge it. You simply watch, and in the watching, the thought loses its grip. Awareness is the gateway to freedom. And from freedom springs peace, clarity, and wisdom. To make this practical, the monk offered a daily exercise. Whenever you feel tension, stress, or anxiety creeping in, pause. Ask yourself quietly, am I trying to control something I cannot? If the answer is yes, take a breath and release. Visualize your grip loosening on the leaf, the river, the wind. Feel the tension melt as you allow life to flow as it will. Over time, this practice rewires the mind. The compulsion to control diminishes and inner peace grows. But here's the twist the monk revealed. Life does not become easier when you stop trying to control it. In fact, life may become messier, more unpredictable, more vivid, and sometimes more challenging. And yet, paradoxically, this is the moment when peace deepens, when clarity sharpens, when you finally feel alive instead of trapped. The very thing you thought was essential control was the barrier to living fully. I remember walking out of that monastery into the world again. The traffic, the noise, the endless demands of life were still there, but my mind was different. A thought would arise. I must make this turn. I must solve this problem perfectly. I must fix this person. And I would pause, smile, and say, no, let it be. I will respond with awareness, not compulsion. And life responded in subtle ways. Decisions became clearer. Relationships less tense, creativity flowed, and joy came in small, unexpected moments. Let me ask you again. Are you holding the river too tightly? Are you gripping the leaf, clinging to outcomes, feeding the one thought that destroys your peace? Recognize it, name it, release it. Step back, watch, flow. The monk said, the moment you stop trying to control life is the moment you begin to live it. And it is true. Because control is an illusion, peace is your birthright. The wind blows, the leaves fall, the sun rises and sets, and you are here. You do not need to manipulate every moment to find meaning. The meaning is already present. It is in the awareness of existence itself, the delicate balance of chaos and order, the eternal dance of light and shadow. So today, notice the thought that whispers, I must control. See it clearly. Do not fight it. Do not follow it blindly. Simply acknowledge, let go, and observe. In doing so, you will discover a freedom that is quiet but profound, a peace that is unshakable, a clarity that illuminates even the darkest corners of the mind. And this is not a philosophical abstraction. It is practical. Every interaction, every challenge, every choice becomes lighter when you are no longer shackled by the need to control. You move through life as a river moves through a valley, flexible, responsive, aware, and free. Remember, the leaf does not need your hand. The the river does not need your grasp, and you do not need to manipulate life to find happiness. The monk's wisdom is simple but powerful. Stop holding, start observing. An inner peace will rise like the sun over the horizon, warm, bright, and inevitable. If you carry this thought with you, you will notice the subtle shifts. Arguments will not pierce your calm. Setbacks will not break your heart, and the storms of life will feel like passing clouds rather than hurricanes. Your mind will become a sanctuary rather than a battlefield, a place of rest rather than a workshop of worry. The one thought that once destroyed your peace will lose its power, and in its place, you will find awareness, freedom, and a profound sense of being alive. This is not magic. It is not wishful thinking. It is a practice, a daily choice, a commitment to witness life rather than dominate it. And in that witnessing, in that gentle, alert, compassionate presence, peace blossoms naturally, effortlessly, and beautifully. So start now. Observe. Let go. Stop trying to control what cannot be controlled. Stop fighting the leaf, the wind, the river, the world. Instead, watch them, flow with them, and let life reveal its beauty in its own rhythm. Because when you do, you realize that the one thought you believed was necessary was actually optional. You realize that peace was always waiting for you behind the door of awareness. Open the door, step inside, and finally, breathe. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to pause, reflect, and consider what you might be holding too tightly today. Leave a comment sharing your insight or experience, because your story may light the way for someone else. Hit like if this wisdom stirred something within you, and subscribe to Soul Shift Insights for more journeys into the mind, heart, and soul, where every video is a step toward clarity, calm, and transformation. Remember, peace is not found in control but in presence. And your presence is the most powerful gift you can offer the world.